Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to yet another Destiny 2 video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to get the Outbreak Perfection from scratch. Now apologies in advance because this is going to be a rather lengthy video. There's not really going to be any short guides on this weapon simply because there are a lot of steps if you don't have the prerequisites basically unlocked. So this weapon of course was a Destiny 1 exotic. It was called the Outbreak Prime, and you did get it from a side mission within one of the raids. It was one of the most rare weapons in the game in my opinion, and I'm actually quite glad that Bungie's bringing it back to Destiny 2. I know usually a lot of people kind of get mad that Bungie brings back old exotics, but this one is actually a really good idea because I have a funny feeling that not too many people got to experience this weapon back in Destiny 1, so now everybody gets to use it if you complete this mission right here. It's very similar to the Whisper of the Worm mission. If you completed that, the format and everything like that is very similar. The only difference is that there's a few prerequisites that you have to complete before you unlock this mission itself. So let's just get right into it guys. If you enjoyed this guide and it helps you out, a like rating would be very much appreciated. And without further ado, here we go. So the first thing you're going to want to make sure that you already have done is the Enemy of My Enemy quest on Titan. This is very, very important because you will not be able to progress without finishing this. So this is the very first thing you should do. If you go onto your director and take a look at Titan, if there is a blue quest, make sure you complete all of them and then you can kind of move on to the next part. Now, if you do not see any blue quests on your map, then what you should do is actually go over to Sloan and she will have the quest there for you. It's going to be under the abandoned quest lines. Go ahead and pick it up and complete all of the blue quests. There should be 3 of them in total, basically part 1, part 2, and part 3. You should finish it, within 15-20 minutes. It's not too long whatsoever. And once you're done with that, then you're going to run into an enemy at the last mission called Mithrax. I might be saying his name wrong. I don't have it on hand, just kind of recollecting from memory here. Once you actually defeat him, then you're going to get the Rat King quest, I guess part 1. Once you have that quest line, you are done. You don't need to progress any further. To activate the door that you're going to have to open, the Rat King is not required. You just have to get to this point in the quest for the door to be unlocked. So what you then want to do is go over to Titan and start up the Heroic Adventure. Once you start up the Heroic Adventure, ignore absolutely everything and just run through as much as you can. You're going to get to one part in the mission itself where there's going to be 2 doors and both of them are going to be closed. The one on the left will say either locked or it will give you the option to unlock it. If you can unlock the door on your left, then you did everything correct, so congratulations, and now you can start on this wild adventure. If you cannot unlock the door and it says locked, that means somebody in your fire team did not do the prerequisites correctly, or the character that you are on specifically has not done the Enemy of My Enemy full quest line. Make sure there are no blue quests on Titan whatsoever, and when you visit Sloan, make sure there is nothing that is abandoned in terms of quests. If you have done all that, then you should be totally fine, and once you start the Heroic Adventure, that door should become unlockable. So once you're inside this room, go over to this terminal where I'm at right here and examine what it tells you to examine, and you're going to get yourself the Fallen Transponder. Now, one thing that I have to mention, and again, this is very important, if you try cheesing this activity and, getting one of your buddies to join up on you once the door is already open, the item will not be there. So make sure that you're either doing this solo and have all the prerequisites, or that nobody joins up on you that doesn't have their prerequisites, because there will be no option of examining where I just examined, so just keep that in mind. Now once you have this Fallen Transponder, you can actually go ahead and right click with your mouse, or you can click Y on Xbox to actually examine it, and it's going to show you all of these nodes. There's going to be 6 of them in total, and you're going to have to find them throughout the solar system. Now there's going to be 4 of them on Earth and 2 of them on Nessus. They're going to be found in Lost Sectors. So the very first one is going to be found on the Drain Lost Sector on EDZ. The second one is going to be found on the Whispered Falls in EDZ. Third is the Atrium in EDZ, and the fourth is in Widow's Walk on EDZ. Now on Nessus, there's going to be the Carrion Pit and also the Rift. So I'm going to show you those locations right now from 1 to 6. Again, 4 of them are on EDZ and 2 of them are on Nessus, and all of them are within Lost Sectors. Okay, so for the very first two nodes, we're going to go over to Outskirts. That's where both of these lost sectors are located. But for the very first one, just fast travel over to Trosslands and then make your way over to the Outskirts. Once you get to this bridge right here, go ahead and go underneath it and go into the lost sector. You'll get a load zone that says that you are now in the drain, and just follow in my footsteps here. You're going to get to where I'm at. You're going to fall off this little cliff, go over to the left-hand side, and you will see your very first data node. So there you go. That's your first one, and now you can either make your way out of this lost sector, or you can fast travel to the Winding Cove and go back to the Outskirts. This time around, you're going to go into this lost sector right here. You have to go through this little tunnel in this cave with your Sparrow. Your light will be on, but it is quite dark, so be careful. As soon as the room opens up to you, go ahead and fall down to the bottom of the waterfall, and then take an immediate right. You're going to notice that there's a little hole that you can actually enter, and right behind these rocks is going to be your second node. This is all of the nodes for the Outskirts area. We're then going to make our way over to the Trosslands, and there's going to be two lost sectors specifically within the Trosslands that have two more nodes. These are going to be the final two on EDZ, and then we'll make our way over to Nessus. So the very first one is actually just below the church. This one's very easy. You've probably been here many times at the beginning of Destiny 2's campaign to do lost sectors, so just follow the path that I take, and you're going to end up right before the boss. There's going to be these two little jail cells on the left hand side. You're just going to go ahead and enter the first one, and the node is going to be hiding behind the final pillar. So that's the third one right there. Go ahead and fast travel back to Trosslands and make your way over to the lost sector that is directly in front of you when you spawn in. Just ride your Sparrow through the rooms and just follow the path that I'm taking, and at the very end of the lost sector, on top of where the chest area spawns, it's going to be on the second story, just in one of the broken down houses. Pick that up, and that is going to be 4 out of 6. And now we're going to make our way over to Nessus, more specifically Exodus Crash. So the first thing you want to do is just get on your Sparrow and cross this small body of water and make your way over to this lost sector right here. I believe this one's called the Rift, but I may be mistaken. But anyways, once you get to the main part of the lost sector, there's going to be a massive crate up on the top left side of the room. You're going to have to jump inside of it. Now, first, me and my teammates were a little bit lost, and we thought that the item was on the other side of the crate or on top of the crate, but it is just inside of the crate. So make sure you get that jump right away to save you some time. Once you get this item, go ahead and fast travel back to Exodus Black, and this is where you're going to have to make a pretty long haul with your Sparrow. So just follow the route that I go to, and we're going to go over to the next lost sector, and this is the one that's basically underground. So this lost sector is called the Carrion Pit, and it's quite a long lost sector, so just be careful not to lose yourself. Just skip all of these ads right here and all of these enemies. There's no need to kill them whatsoever, and just make your way over to where the boss is basically at. Now, the item itself that you're looking for is really close to the chest, so go over to the chest, and it is directly to the right of the chest. The chest is on the left side of the room, the item is on the right hand side. At first, me and my buddies actually picked up the item that we were looking for behind a wall, so we kind of picked it up and glitched it through a wall, but that's not really the proper way of picking it up. At the very end of this clip right here, I'll show you guys how to actually get there, and it just requires a jump around the platform. That's all it really is. So that is 6 out of 6 of the nodes. If you go ahead and inspect the item that you actually have in your pursuits, your inventory, it is basically done, and all 6 of the nodes are lit up. And now you can go over to the farm and talk to a brand new little NPC, I guess, that we have. He's not really an NPC because you can't talk to him, but you start the mission with him. Okay guys, so once you're actually in the mission, this is just like the Whisper of the Worm. You got 20 minutes on the clock, and it's time to go. And this is honestly just some of the most fun that I've ever had in Destiny 2. I'm super happy Bungie came out with this event. Even though it is for a reskin, I don't care, because these are the experiences that I honestly live for in Destiny 2. Whenever Bungie surprises us with something like this, whether it's the Shattered Throne or the Whisper quest or this quest, it's just such a good time, even if it is for an exotic that is returning. Anyways guys, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play all these, basically these little fights where we're just clearing out ads in a big room. I'm going to play these at 200% speed, mostly because this is stuff that you guys don't really need to see. There's nothing too important going on. You know, there's no jumping puzzle, there's no mazes, there's no switches that you have to, you know, activate. It's just killing ads, and it's very straightforward. So follow the path that I go on. If you guys have noticed, the landscape that we're playing in is basically the tower when it's destroyed, and this is basically the Destiny 1 very first campaign mission in reverse. So follow the path that I take. You guys are going to know exactly where to go if you play Destiny 2's, you know, storyline at the very beginning. It is just the same thing but in reverse. So take out all of these ads and try doing so in the fastest fashion possible. Use supers, make sure you're recycling orbs as much as possible. Make sure you guys have on heavy hitting weapons like the Recluse, maybe Sleeper Simulant, the Whisper, anything that can basically do as much damage as possible in the shortest amount of time. So just keep killing out the ads. At this part right here in this hangar, there's going to be a tank that spawns in. That's basically the hardest enemy that you're going to have to kill, along with a few of these servitors. But once you're done with that, just follow on the path that we take as a fire team. So go ahead and walk up this staircase right here, and in this room there's going to be a few ads, nothing too difficult. Go ahead and take them out, and in the subsequent room there's going to be about 6, 7, 8 ads. Just slowly take them out, or I guess as quickly as possible, but don't worry too much about time because they're not difficult, the ads, you know, most of them are red bars anyways. But what we're going to do in a second here is actually slow down the footage because we are slowly getting to the jump puzzle, the maze room, whatever you want to call it. There's a bunch of vents that you're going to have to go through, and so I'm going to slow down the footage and explain exactly where to go for the fastest time. Also, make sure that you're putting on as many exotics that you possibly can that will help you out with, you know, stuff like jumps. I personally put on the triple jump for Hunter, and I had stompies, and that was more than enough to basically get through any part of this, you know, encounter with no problem whatsoever. So once you get to the passage, fall down to your left, and we were looking in here for so long like where the exit was, but it was actually underneath the ship. Go to the furthest vent on the right hand side, break it, and fall through and follow the direction that we go to. Then take a left when you get in this room, break the vent, and break the very first vent on your right hand side, and fall to this room right here, right underneath the vent that you just broke. That is the fastest route if you want to get to this place right here, which is the next jumping puzzle. So go ahead and just follow where I'm going. Again, I use triple jump and I use stompies. Nothing too fancy, nothing too sexy. If you're on a Titan, you can put on strafe jump and get out those boots, the exotic ones. I think they're called lion rampants or ramparts. Can't even remember what they're called, to be honest. But fall down here and just basically make your way across. Once you make your way across this, the really cool part about this puzzle and this jumping room in general is the fact that the first person that makes it across will actually have the ability to flip a switch, which will pull out this massive object that people, let's say they failed, they can jump onto this object and basically clear most of the jumping puzzle. So if you're sherping people, very, very simple for them to get through this as long as you know how to, you know, get through it. Jump up through this pipe right here and just follow the direction that I go into. Do not go through that room right there. Instead, start jumping onto these platforms. Once you elevate to about the 3rd story, then you're going to want to break the vent. Do not break this one right here. This is 1 story too low, and I made the mistake of going in here. I just basically came out of that same room that you saw me go into. I climbed up 1 story and then went into the vent. It doesn't matter if you go on the right side or the left side, as long as you're at that 3rd, 4th story, you're fine and you'll get to the top. So this part, you know, it might seem a little bit intimidating at first, but it really isn't. Go ahead and jump on the middle platform, just on top of the blades, and then jump through the red cuts that are in the walls. Those will obviously let you survive once you pass down them, and just rinse and repeat. So go down the cut, land on the middle platform, and just keep rinsing and repeating that same process. Break the vent and go to the 2nd left. Do not take the 1st left. And then what you want to do is actually just, you know, clear this room. It's fairly easy. Jump on the right side, then jump on the left side, and then make 1 final jump here where you can basically get to the very ending. I had a lot of room to spare. I basically had 1 more jump, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Make sure you activate that switch, and that'll basically bring out bridges for your teammates to make it through very simply. And then once you're done with that, we are getting to probably the hardest part of this entire encounter and this entire mission. This is the ventilation area. So essentially there is going to be 4 switches down below that you're going to need to activate. All of them are currently disabled. There is L1, which is left 1, there's left 2, and then there's R1 and R2, which is right 1 and right 2, obviously. Now, there's also going to be these electric barriers that you cannot pass through, or else obviously they shock you and you die. So just wait for those things to basically stop, and then you can pass through them. They're only going to last about 15 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. So just be a little bit patient whenever you see them and whenever they're in your way, and you'll be able to get right by them and activate the next switch. The other thing you're going to have to watch out for is that there is actually one zapper. That's what me and my fire team call it. It's basically a zapper that electrocutes you, but it also goes through the path where you walk. So sometimes you'd be trapped within 2 barriers and you can't exit, and then this, thing that basically roams around basically just smushes you and zaps you. So be careful of that. Of course, there are some cuts within the place that you walk through on the left and right hand side. You have to crouch and you can sometimes get in there, so keep an eye out for those just in case, if one of those does sneak up on you and it's about to kill you. Try finding a little cupboard that you can hide in, because they do exist all around the map. Generally speaking, what you want to do though is have all 3 people go down, have 1 person on the left hand side and 2 people on the right hand side, and have both guys go to the right 1 and right 2, and have the 1 person that went to the left alone just at L1. Have them all flick the switches and then basically wait for the electric barrier to go down, and then slowly make your way to the final one, which is L2. And it isn't pretty. Some of you guys may die, but it's the quickest way that we've found to do it without knowing the exact formula on how to actually get through this without nobody dying. So just have 2 people on one side, make them run to the right 1 and right 2 switch right away, have 1 person go to the left 1 switch, activate all of those, and then all 3 of you try getting to the left 2 switch, whichever way you can. And once you activate that one, there's going to be an exit towards the very ending of the room at the backhand side. Clear this encounter at your own pace. You really don't have to rush it. As long as you were pretty fast to get to this point, you have a few minutes where you can kind of waste dying and stuff like that at this particular encounter. You're then going to take the elevator up, nothing too fancy about it, just ride it all the way to the top, and then you're going to fall down that little slide that I took. Make sure that you hit something on the way down or else you'll die. Go to your left, go through this vent right here, follow the direction that I go into, and essentially you're just going to follow my path all the way up until the boss room. Now normally this door is closed, but that sign right there is what you're going to have to go up to and interact with. So on PC, that's going to be either like E or F, whatever your interact key is. On PlayStation, that's going to be square, and on Xbox, I think that's X if I'm not mistaken. So just go ahead and interact with that room. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in there not knowing what to do for a really long time. And then just follow where I go. We're basically almost at the boss room now. This, no more jumping puzzles or mazes or anything like that. Just follow this direction, and eventually we're going to get there. This is the Tower Ruins, and there is one massive boss that we have to kill, as well as a lot of enemies, some big servitors, and at the very end, there will be 2 tanks that spawn up. You're going to have to basically clear everything in this room. So I recommend having on Whispers. If you don't have Whispers, then obviously Sleeper Simulant will do fine, but really you want to have the Whisper because it's basically unlimited ammo. There's a massive boss. He looks like Skolas. Land your shots on him, and honestly, this encounter really isn't too difficult. Just clear it as quickly and efficiently as possible. Revive your teammates so that they don't spawn outside. That's the one annoying thing that I was kind of running into, is that whenever you didn't get rezzed, you would spawn outside, but it's only about a 5-10 second walk inside. You can sit in this bottom portion of the map right here. There's, a good amount of cover. There's a bunch of crates. There's also a middle alleyway that you can basically walk underneath. It's almost like a underground pass that you can walk through. So there's a lot of spots that you can kind of, hold cover behind. That's what I would recommend doing, staying in this little, in this floor area here and just jumping up whenever you want to take shots at people. Clear out all the ads and then start doing damage on the boss again, and then more ads will spawn. Clear out those ads and then kill the boss once again. And you should finish this, with at least a few minutes to spare on your timer. And the more and more you do this, the faster you're gonna get at this, and yeah, you'll get your Outbreak Prime as soon as you're done clearing all the ads and killing the boss at this final encounter. If this helped you out, a like rating would be very much appreciated. Make sure to subscribe for more daily Destiny 2 content. Have yourselves a great day, and I will see you all later. Peace.